Welcome back, Unranked Podcast. Just another reminder here to like, comment, and subscribe as well. We're going to talk about today a little bit of Michigan basketball. They look up, they found their way into the Sweet 16. Played some nail biters, but some great games over this past weekend. Beating UC San Diego, down 10 against Texas A&M, ended up winning by like 12. Um, Talk about them a little bit and what their matchup looks like against Auburn and discuss a potential MSU Michigan Elite Eight matchup that I mean is a real thing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, then we'll talk about the Pistons as well, of course. They're coming off, I think they're on a 2-game win streak, if I'm not mistaken,
Yep.
beating the Pelicans, sweeping them, and then also handling the Spurs. I'll talk about those games a little bit, and then dive into some of the next 9 games. Got a pretty tough schedule. Talk about what kind of record we need to see in order to keep us out of that play-in. But kick it off to you, E. I just want to see your thoughts on um, Michigan basketball this past weekend, and yeah, what it looked like for them to get to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, no, so I was like kind of like you say right before we hopped on. More or less, I feel like generally speaking, the best way to sum this up is house money. We
Mhm.
are we're riding high. The team looks good, looks well coached. Players look like they're cohesive, moving as a unit. Just that first game out the tournament, obviously we what was it, UC San Diego. We got out to a big lead, started out like 10-0, kind of had
Mhm.
our foot on their neck in that 10-point range for a while, and then it seems like we just all things fell apart heading, and then kind of turned into where our backs are against the wall. That I feel like that momentum from that game or lack thereof kind of propelled us to that Texas A&M game where it was we had to have our best foot forward, and like you said, exact opposite. We come a 20-point swing down 10 to winning by 10. Players hit big time shots. Coach looked like um I'm becoming more impressed by Dusty May, a guy that I would have never guessed that we would hire. I was looking for a big time name or somebody like that, but he seems to really kind of have his pulse is on as far as good coaching rhythm, knowing what to do. Our biggest faults still are just huge windows of not scoring.
Turnovers.
You look in turnovers. Yep, and because leading into not scoring, where you'll see
Uh,
2 point or 2, 3, 4 minute stretches where we're going basketless. And so I've got to say you could not do that versus Auburn team. I think you got to get you're gonna have to more or less go basket for basket with them. And be able to get some timely stops and but also be able to get some timely buckets. And but overall, Sweet 16, that's pretty much about a successful, obviously you want the Final Fours, you want championships, but Sweet 16 out the gate, that's pretty formidable. And you're down to one of the last 16 teams. At that point it's who was on that day as far as
mhm.
who normally advances.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, great games. That Thursday night game, that was a nail biter. Um, you pretty much hit it on the head. Like they just found a way to just get hot. And like, we still just kind of working through that Achilles heel turnovers, just going on the stretches, kind of like letting teams either letting them back into the game, like we kind of did on Thursday, or UC San Diego was down like, you know, and down like 10 to 15 at half. And
Yep.
then next thing you know, we down one and got Donaldson pulling for three, with 2 minutes left to give us a lead back. Like it was just really like a roller coaster on both games. I mean, we was hanging around with Texas A&M, went cold, started turning the ball over. Um, and yeah, next thing you know, we down 10 points. And yeah, and I got to just tip the cap to LJ Kaysen and Roddy Gale. They've been calling Roddy Gale a double agent just because he ain't been playing all that great. But man, I mean, both of them guys, like, especially like the freshmen, I'm like,
Yeah.
I was watching a game with some of my cousins over the weekend, and they're just like, at first they're like, get this guy out of there because he's like, he's fouling, he's kind of like real, just kind of all over the place. But he changed the pace of that game and like kind of ignited like that little
Yeah.
run
Once
because we
you once you
outscored
settle it
them.
in, yeah.
Yeah, because we outscored them like almost like 50 to like 25 or something crazy in the second half. Like kind of like they everybody on Twitter keeps pointing to like when a guy for them hit a three and they were, he was kind of like talking trash to Roddy Gale. They're up four, and I think from then on we outscored them like 25 to like 9 or something. So like,
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I just, I like how they just responded. I mean, they didn't even get wide open. He was just hitting timely threes. We said Casey going to the cup, Golden down there. I mean, he played like four fouls, like got his fourth foul like 7 minutes left in the game, didn't foul out, was still down there like getting to it on the board. So they just play real physical. And yeah, like you said, this house money. I mean, Dusty May, I mean, he's been crushing it. We kind of had a couple of peaks and valleys throughout the season, but 27-9 first year, playing the overall one seed to go to the Elite Eight. I mean, this is a good spot where it's like we don't have much to lose. I think that's the kind of the fun part of what's going to be about watching this game this weekend.
Yeah, right. That's exactly how I feel. We don't have much to lose. I mean, going into the season, if you would have told me we'd have 18 wins and make a tournament, I'd have been happy about that. I think so. It's it's a night and day different from what I kind of expected. So heading into this Auburn game, I have not watched Auburn play a lot, but I do know they've been one of the big dogs all season. Hovering around that number one overall majority of the year. I know they are, let's just call them seasoned vets. The team is loaded with guys that are transfers, 22, 23, 24-year olds. It's a real grown man
Yeah,
team. Seen some of their stats. They're number 12 in defense, number overall, number 7 in 3-point defense, and they have three guys that hit over 36% for three. Is kind
yeah,
of one of the articles I read. So that right there, obviously the number one overall seed for a reason. So you got to come, not have none of them long droughts. And I truly think kind of not playing through Golden, but let him get his touches. I do think good things happen when you feed him. He plays differently. I think on both ends of the court when he's getting touches. And then outside of that, Wolf not try to do too much. I think sometimes he thinks he can dribble maybe slightly better than he can.
yeah,
You've seen a couple times where he got pickpocketed or almost did in that Texas A&M game. So just everybody plays within their own means and play loose.
yeah.
We have nothing to, like you said, almost nothing to lose. Go out and as the Fat Five say, shock the world.
It almost feels like, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an analyst, but I don't know. I just feel like watching these last couple games, like even like the Texas A&M game, they kind of took it out of Danny's hands. I like not giving it
Yes.
to him as much as like being like that primary ball handler. I think that's kind of helped with the turnovers a little bit
I
because
agree, and
like
that's this. I think the surge, not to cut you off, just Donaldson coming on the scene so hard and being
yeah,
clutch at the end of the game, and I think we can, like you say, get the ball out of Wolf's hands just slightly.
yeah, yeah, and I think yeah, because I mean, now we've talked, when we have chatted about them on here, I think we always talked about just how the point guard play has been a little, a little shaky. I did think Donaldson's played a lot better. I think
Yeah,
he's being more of like a floor general. I mean, he ain't really even been trying to go get his. He only been going to score when it's like we need a bucket. You know what I mean? It's been a lot more just timely. Like I think he's, you know, 8, 9 points. For just really like managing the game. I think that's what we need this kind of time of year. It's like we're gonna slow things down. Get into the sets. Like better ball handler than Danny Wolf. So like need to have it in his hands more to kind of orchestrate things. Where Danny started doing that little side spin. I'm like, dog, he
yeah.
about to. It worked like
We've
75% of
all
the
seen it one
time.
too many times. We yeah. No, I
Yeah,
agree.
like it's like predict. I mean, it kind of feel like he's kind of be walking himself into double teams. Like I think
Yeah,
you know what I'm
if you
saying.
don't
Like
come off this and spin to another,
yeah,
they've seen that on tape 100 times. So now to be the
hmm
time if you ever gonna pull out the plan B to that move.
yeah,
But yeah. So I mean, and obviously not to talk too much on it on the what ifs and possibilities, but we take care of business here. State take care of business this weekend, and this state of Michigan might burn down on Sunday with that game. And, I think that'd be live. And obviously I look forward to playing whenever you can play rivals that late in tournament. I mean,
it's unheard of too
yeah,
in a
it's
tournament.
unheard of.
Like
Yeah, almost. Yeah. So
yeah,
that'd be a
we
big time game, and obviously, I guess half-ass rooting for them to make it so we can make it, and yeah. So I'm
yeah,
looking forward to that
I'm
too. You put
because
the
it's
potential of that, I should say.
yeah, it's kind of like a Big Ten versus SEC. Like I mean, I think that's kind of like. you don't want Ohio to win a natty. You don't, but there is like a part of like Big
Yeah,
Ten starting to
some
kind of
conference
assert
pride.
themselves in both conferences, early in both sports, and really like in football, where they always say SEC is the best. But yeah, I mean, I like, I wouldn't be mad at it either. Just kind of seeing a couple little blue bloods from the same state. You know what I mean? Just like perennial. Because I think we can say we're blue blood in both sports easily
I ain't
now.
mad
I
at it.
think that's. I mean, I
Yeah,
think we've shown that the last like 15 years, like basketball, we are
yeah.
pretty
We
relevant
stay
and,
we
and
stay in the
pretty
mix.
successful.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
facts.
So, but yeah,
Yeah.
no,
No,
looking
looking forward to it.
forward.
I'll be rooting for him.
Yeah, just
What, this
hate that it's at
Friday?
9:40. It is at Atlanta. Like, how is that 9:40 in Atlanta? Like,
Yeah, that's horrible.
and
Uh,
it's gonna get pushed to 10.
yeah, that's horrible. But I mean, obviously we gonna be glued to the screen trying to watch it.
Mhm.
I mean, you do. I mean, college basketball. I have love and hate with it throughout the years. It really depends on the year, but every single year that's the regular season, but every single year the tournament almost never disappoints. So particularly when one of your teams are in it. So no, I'm full steam ahead for this, bro. I'm just
Yeah,
yeah, and hopefully DraftKings up my payout. So we be
yeah. I mean, that'd be lit.
yeah,
Yeah, go in there, throw a couple dollars on them.
yeah.
But yeah,
No. I tagged
um,
him early, but no, we good. And then our beloved Pistons sitting pretty.
yeah,
Uh,
real
yeah,
good spot.
transition over to them. First time in a minute we ain't had no game on right now to be kind of half paying attention to. Um, but I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles for the rest of the season here. But um, like you said in the intro, coming off two dubs, four of the last five. Only loss in there is that kind of weird loss to Dallas on Friday 21st, and then we're heading into Cleveland, and then a little mini road trip, and then we in the thick of it. Out of our
Yeah,
next 9 games here, one, two, three, looks like six are playoff teams. Um, so I guess I just kind of, what's your general thoughts on where we stand, and obviously the resting of Cade a little bit, but what are your thoughts on what you're seeing? Winning 2 games without Cade, that's not
yeah. That's how I was
that's
really going.
no small feat either.
Yeah, that's probably literally what I was going to start with is just like shout out. I mean, Ron Holland, 25 piece, Sasser, 27 last night, 20 the night before. Especially like that New Orleans game. I mean, you had McCullum. I mean, he started out cold and went for like 38, 39. I mean, these teams, man. Like we got to get these wins, but these guys are also trying to do whatever they can to just like also
Yeah,
win. You know what I'm
prevent you.
saying? But like
Yeah,
they got like nothing to like. They'd rather ruin your season or mess up seeding or put you in the play-in by all means necessary. So like, yeah, I mean, I'm just impressed they was able to get these gimmies without Cade. It's just good to, let him rest a little bit. I saw he been having a little legs thing on, I know some of it is just like precautionary and preventative maintenance, but I always be like, didn't surprise me he sat down for a couple games. So it's like let him get a little bit
yeah,
of rest. We got still don't play till Friday. He been out since Sunday. So yeah, we got a nice little like you said, Western road trip coming up. Cleveland, maybe get some get back, but we got Minnesota. Got Anthony Edwards gonna want some get back. He dropped 50 on us. We still beat them, and OKC. I mean, they on pace to win 70 games. Um, yeah, no, we positioned well. I'm just glad to see you're winning the gimmies. Like these are even though
yeah,
they're gonna get their team's best shot, you're winning the games you're supposed to get. And like yeah, just like it's good to be able to do that, especially when we talk about Dame going down. Speed recovery, especially with the blood clot, that ain't nothing to play with. That could also affect. I mean, they're the 5 seed, if I'm not mistaken, or the 4 seed.
yeah.
Probably
The
pull it
four
up here,
seed.
but
Yeah.
or 4 seed. But I
Oh no,
mean,
I'm tripping. I'm tripping. The Bucks out of five. You're
yeah,
right. Pacers.
okay, yeah. So yeah, so I mean, there's some ground to be able to be made up here, just kind of depending on how things shake out. I mean, playing them twice. Let's say I hate to say it, but like, we play them April 11th. I mean, that's like about 2 weeks from now. No telling how they look, as far as just playing without Dame. So yeah, there's opportunity to pick up ground. It'd be great to just I think I want that Knicks matchup. And I don't even care. It's it's all everything is icing on the cake, but I want that Knicks matchup because I even get them in like six. I'd even welcome the Bucks matchup as well. Like,
Yeah. Um, I agree. So we do not wish injuries on people,
right.
especially players that we love like Dame. But Bucks are Bucks are scary with Giannis. They're twice as scary or quite twice as terrifying with Dame and Giannis. So you can't. And I feel not as good about playing them together in a 7 game series as I do just playing one or the other. And
Mm,
that's just is what it is from just a pure fan,
yeah, I mean,
pure
this is just yeah,
yeah. Like they're together, they're a different nucleus, and you can stop one for 2 games, and the other one goes off, and then you stop that one, and then the inverse goes off. So I think they're just a different animal, and they're missing people like Bobby Portis too. I think I heard he'll come back um before the playoffs, maybe or during the playoffs.
yeah,
But they removing him as well. It's going to be all beyond Giannis, and so um that's going to be kind of interesting. We know you know how I feel about the Knicks. I think we can get all in the Knicks ass and legit beat them in a series. I
yeah,
feel pretty good about that. Um, but it'd be interesting to see it play out. Looking at the games, like I said, 9 games left. 6 are playoff ish. 6 are I'm pretty sure in the playoffs. Um, is Sacramento a playoff team? Yeah, it would be
I
no.
think they're in the mix. They're not going to play
Yeah.
in.
So if you
Yeah,
count them, 6. So looking at that, we're 41 wins, 32 losses. Um, so I'm really looking at this is I think I want to see 5 and no less than 5-4 through this stretch.
yeah,
Get us to that magic number 46. Of that 5 wins, preferably we split with the Bucks. I would like to see us get the Knicks to give me some hope. I don't want to blow that get first the Knicks and then be like, getting what you wish for. And then one of them teams from the West, Minnesota or OKC, one of them 2 playoff teams. I want to see us continue to beat them playoff teams.
yeah,
I don't feel that good about that Cleveland game to be honest. I think Cleveland is on a mission to win 67 games just to get bounced some point in the playoffs. But
yeah. I
I think
think
that's what they're full steam ahead for.
you gotta get
Uh,
like yeah, you gotta get like Minnesota or like Memphis. Even though Cleveland, they on a 4 game, 3 game losing streak. I don't know. So well, that's gonna be even tougher. Like now it's gonna be like
yeah, right, right.
motivation to come get
That's what
us.
I'm
Yeah.
saying. They're
Yeah,
they
be
want
like,
to
right,
no
yeah.
less. They want to get that. They can't get caught more than likely, but I think they want to get that
Hmm.
firm 61,
Yeah. You want
62,
to
no
finish
less than that.
strong.
Where you're,
Yeah.
uh,
You want to be
and
like,
and probably let me think. The Thunder has 60 wins, so they might be trying to make sure they get home court advantage.
yeah,
Uh,
for
So,
sure.
kind of playing that musical chairs with them. But
Right.
bro, I'm ecstatic, man. And just to be able to win them games with Cade sitting down, something I would have never managed. I mean, we only won 14 games all last year. This year,
Hmm.
with an all NBA type player sitting on the bench, we go 2 for 2. So
Yeah.
doing the math here, Cade's missed about 6, 7 games, doing rough math in my head here. Imagining it, we'll probably sit him out another 2, 3. He'll probably end up missing 9, 10 games this year, altogether, and then have him fully rested for playoffs. Um,
Yeah.
I imagine some other people maybe do that too. Beasley might get a day or 2 off. Dern might get a
Yeah.
game or 2 off.
And
Just try to
teams we
save a couple of
playing,
minutes. Yeah.
yeah, teams we playing, they might be, you never know. Might be catching some of these teams like the Knicks,
Mhm.
Memphis, some of these guys higher
Yeah. Knicks
seeds.
might only play their starters like 35 minutes that game.
Yeah, right. They'll just leave Josh Hart out there for like 48 though. Yeah, they'll just yeah, they'd be that's still nuts. But I think it's even cooler. Like, these last 9 games, we got one on ESPN next Wednesday.
Yeah. Or
We'll
just I
be
meant to say that. Yeah.
yep. So we'll be like wrapping up as soon as that one's coming on, and then you got even like Memphis and Sacramento on NBA TV. Like they'll still be blacked out, but just getting on there, and also saw that Cade was like the second most searched um player of the week or something behind Bronny,
Yeah.
like on NBA.com. So like I
Okay.
don't know, it's just kind of cool.
No,
Like
you can see the
NBA,
superstar building. You can see it.
yeah,
He's talking to town on every podcast.
yeah.
Like
I just searched his name
I
on
had 3
YouTube just
people
to
text
find
me a
clips.
version of he's him when he hit the game winner. I mean, people know
Yeah,
people starting to buy in.
Yeah,
Uh,
my cousin legit told me this weekend. He was like, I didn't think he had it a couple years back, but he the real deal. And I'm like, yeah, like I mean, it's crazy what spacing and 3-point shooting will do for you,
yeah.
especially when you're a superstar.
No, I know so many people that was hard on him, and obviously it's hard with the losses. But I mean
For
that
sure.
rookie year, 17, 6 and 6. I was like, this is better than anything we ever fucking drafted.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, literally.
if he improves only 20% from this, that'd have been the best draft pick I probably ever personally seen.
Yeah,
Um,
without a doubt.
so
Yeah.
we normally get our first pick, it'd be 6 and 3, like, damn, all right,
Hmm.
well, there's
Yeah.
promise, think about
Right.
um
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
no,
trying to
so
think
I
what
sitting
Grant
from
Hill's stats
there,
were.
coming in like 27-7 and getting hurt, like there was always promise there. It didn't ever came all together. Um
Yeah. But now it's yeah. I mean, I think just the way it's turning out, and I think like obviously we talk about him quite a bit, but I was looking at Grant Hill his first season. He was 19, 19, 6 rebounds, 5 assists.
yeah,
He said K
that's
was
pretty
like
comparable.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I just thought I'd check it out
No,
real quick.
I think that's
But
comparable. I think we obviously we didn't get to really watch any of Prime Grant Hill, but I think I asked you a couple weeks back if you thought Cade is the most talented Piston we've ever watched, and I think it's up there for sure. Like um I truly can't. I know I feel like we come on here every week just talking crazy about how great he is, but I truly do. I think
scratching the
people like
surface too.
Draymond saying he's gonna bring a ring to the city. You got
Pull up, Draymond. Pull
yeah.
up.
Yeah, as long as it's not for 25 M, I ain't trying to. But
Right,
no,
yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
pull up
Yeah.
for the 5.5.
Better than
But
minimum.
no, I think that's exactly where we're at. And we like you say, get some shooting around him, and you see the sky's the limit. Once he starts getting the foul calls properly, he'll be up to 30 points a game.
Oh yeah.
So I think that, and then we said this almost every week. He doesn't got a sidekick in Jalen Duran or in Jaden Ivey. I
Hey,
mean,
Ivy, yeah.
uh, second best player on the team, arguably. Night in, night out, just a X factor, difference maker. And I'm not sure what his status is for the playoffs and coming back and all that stuff, but I know next year they're gonna be a problem together. So
Hmm.
we got a great nucleus here, and I
Yeah,
and I
just
think, man, just like you said, finish about, which I say 5-4. What do you think for the next end of the schedule here?
man, I don't know. I think I'm just like a tad bit on like the pessimistic side. I think more like got 40. I'm probably thinking like 3-6, maybe like 4-5.
Okay.
I don't know. We just gotta yeah, I mean, I don't know if they call that game the way they did for Shy. We played them in like I just don't see
Yeah.
it happening. And then in Minnesota, they low keep it rolling. They've been playing like a lot better. I think we caught them without Julius Randle. I think he's been back and been playing like a lot better. I just yeah, that's why I'm just like it's like yeah, Cleveland is Cleveland, but it's like paramount to get that Toronto game. You got to steal. Like I think either like that Memphis game or that back to back with Milwaukee. I think we can hang. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't be surprised if we steal one, but I just think like if we kind of rest some guys here and there, and I think like 3-6. I think
Yeah.
I'd be comfortable with that. But you
Three and
know
six, 3-6, I'd be a little alarmed. Not that 3-6 and 4-5 are all that different, but 3-6, I'd be like, damn, like, all right, you know.
yeah, I am being a little
But
pessimistic.
you could be right. Like you said, the way we resting players, the way other teams might be
Yeah,
fighting for a position. Um,
yeah,
but 4-5, 5-4, okay.
it's
I feel like,
ideal.
I think that'd be smooth. I just don't want to back into the playoffs too hard. I don't want to come
Right.
off
Like
two
losing
straight
three
ass
straight.
whoopings versus Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Got the brakes beat off of us versus on live TV versus OKC. I think that's why maybe the weight of who you beat in those games might be a little more important.
Mhm.
You know, uh, you go as far as even strategically, whatever, but you win. three games and you beat the Knicks in Milwaukee twice, that might technically be a better needle mover on what you need than
Right.
beat
Yeah.
all the bottom feeders. So
Yeah. For me, yeah, no, you're right. Because it's like, if you got to drop the games to the Western Conference, I mean, I think that's kind of like third or fourth on the tiebreaker. You know what I'm saying? But
mhm.
like, can we beat the Knicks at home? Can we get, the Bucks at least once? Can we, gotta beat Toronto? Have to beat Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
think that's.
or can we go 9-0 and win 50 games?
I mean, yeah. I'll gladly come over here and be like, yeah, I was pessimistic. Look what happened. I mean, that could very well. I'm about to say, we had Ivy. I just be thinking about like if he would have been hanging around, like, and didn't get hurt. Yeah, like that. It's gonna be a real shame that we ain't gonna really be able to. I mean, he'll be back 100% next season. I don't think he's gonna be able to come back this season. I don't think they're even gonna like. I don't know what they're gonna do honestly, but
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
not sure if we'll rush him back or not.
yeah,
I kind of I feel like if he doesn't play, I can't imagine a scenario where we don't play him until the playoffs. So if he's not back, you know, by that Sacramento game, are we really going to bring him back just to play in the playoffs? I kind of feel like
yeah.
that'd be yeah,
And I think, and sometimes, and I don't know, this is where it gets a little dicey because it's like you're bringing him back. He can either like add to it or is he going to kind of like mess up the mojo, kind of trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, is he going
yeah,
to start over Hardaway? I mean, I feel like that's kind of like a spot where like could probably just do that, like not right off the gate, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe if he came off the bench, maybe like a little six man, just kind of snag
yeah.
some minutes for like Fontecchio or something.
I agree because I kind of feel like he played a lot of minutes with Cade, but his primary, not primary, but he played a lot of minutes with Cade. But a big major role of his was running that second unit, and now
Yeah,
we have Schroeder to do
Schroeder.
that. So
Yeah,
I do kind of wonder how that would all work together.
yeah.
But I'm sure he's a professional, and when in doubt, he's be one of the fastest guys out there and can jump at the highest. So
I think he could take
yeah, we
Fontecchio's
can figure it
minutes
out. Yeah,
tomorrow. He could take his he
who's
could take
minutes?
Fontecchio's
I
minutes.
take
Yeah, you can
just
get him
sign
in
him
there
over. Yeah,
quick little 10. Like I think you can work that out. I mean, I love Fontecchio. He balled out, against the Pels, but I think that yeah, I'm just
but check
JB
this.
gonna know what to do. I'm just over here bullshitting.
I knew the Cade needed shooting theory was right when we traded for him, where we traded for Von Checkio, and Cade's numbers went through the roof last year. And it was like, this dude was like a 27-year-old rookie last year. And like,
Yeah, yeah,
what?
can
No,
shoot.
but
Solid
either
ninth
way,
man.
yeah. So we got Cleveland, Minnesota, and then like you said, we'll be recording right about tip off for the Oklahoma City game, and that's the next three games.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. This is a good stretch. This is a good test here to see how we start out the gate um, on our little 9 game mission here. So you got anything else for the people?
No, that's all I got. Go blue, go Pistons. Yeah, hopefully be back with y'all with Michigan in the Final Four and the Pistons. On a 4 or 5 game win streak. Chat with y'all next week.
Peace.